Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Today we'll speak with Maddie. I'm going to do something different here today, tell you a little extra about Maddie than I normally would in the open. She's a 19-year-old college student who has PCOS, acid reflux, low B12, low iron, talking about anemia, and she has something called reactive hypoglycemia. She doesn't have diabetes, but she does love the podcast because of how much it helped her. But that's not what most of this episode is about. Today, we pick through Maddie's problems and try to come up with an answer for her because her doctors are letting her down and she's away at college and things are degrading. You're going to hear a lot of problems that Maddie has that a lot of you might have too. So don't just be like, oh, they don't have diabetes, so I'm not listening today. Please don't do that, okay? This one's good. You're going to like it. Also, it's got a great title. Please don't forget that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. I'd also ask you to check out the private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook with over 53,000 members. It's the place to be. Today's podcast is sponsored by the insulin pump that my daughter has been wearing since she was 4 years old, Omnipod. Omnipod.com/juicebox. You too can have the same insulin pump that my daughter has been wearing every day for 16 years. The episode you're about to listen to was sponsored by Touched by Type 1. Go check them out right now on Facebook, Instagram, and of course at touchedbytype1.org. Check out that programs tab when you get to the website to see all the great things that they're doing for people living with type 1 diabetes. Touchedbytype1.org.
I'm Maddie. I do not have diabetes, but I think I share a lot of experiences with people that do, and this podcast has helped me a lot. It helped me especially my freshman year of college. I'm now a sophomore. I go to a school in the Southeast. I'll just say it. I'll probably say it. I go to UF. I'm very proud of it.
Wait. You go to, see, I like how you're like, I'm just going to say it. Then you just give me two letters. University of
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're, what are you, like 20?
I'm 19.
19. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm 53. So I feel very old. And I'm wondering if we're going to understand each other at all. Although I can, I do okay with Arden, I guess, like keeping up with things she like sees and things. So we'll see what happens here. Okay. So Maddie, let's first just get this out of the way. Do people call you Maddie or Madeline?
Maddie.
Okay. You did not grow up in a house covered in vines. Is that correct?
I did not.
All right. Excellent. Do you have any idea what I'm saying when I say that?
No, I don't.
Excellent. That's excellent. I'm not going to.
Oh, wait, is it like the book? Like the book?
You don't know the little, like, she lives in a house covered in vines, blah, blah, blah. Madeline, you know that?
Yeah.
All right,
Except my mom was always adamant that it's Madeline. And so she tried to separate me from that book as much as possible, even though it was spelled the right way when I went to France. So I don't know.
Oh, I see. Your mom had a problem with the pronunciation of the book title.
Yeah. You are not Madeline. There are 3 E's.
All right.
You are so Madeline.
More like Madeline Kahn, who's probably another person you don't know.
I do not know her.
It's awesome. Okay. So now that we've substantiated that I'm old and you're not, we'll move forward. What do you mean the podcast has helped you, but you don't have diabetes? Who has diabetes that you know?
So I have reactive hypoglycemia, and it can present very similar to the lows that a type 1 would have, especially in the beginning. It hasn't been bad recently because I've just kind of figured out my body. But for a while, it would be like, I'm fine, nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, don't know where I am, shaking, sweating, dizzy, confused. And that was really scary. I had a lot of really scary moments. And I see an endocrinologist, which I really struggled with. I didn't know like what to do. Like it's very daunting.
Okay. So now we're into something I don't really know too much about. So I'm gonna have to pay very close attention to what you're saying. I'm gonna sit up. I just realized it's like, oh, I just can't like sit back on this one. I'm not gonna know what the hell she's talking about. Do you have any other medical issues?
Oh yeah.
All right, Maddie, hold on a second. Go ahead, list them off for me. Do them like.
Okay, I say that I'm not like a cancer patient. Like I'm fine. Like, but I've had or have pretty much every basic deficiency. I'm on B12 right now. I'm on iron. I've always been borderline anemic. I'm actually not right now. I had low sodium at one point. So pretty much, I pass out a lot. I tend to be a very passy outy kind of person. I have other hormonal issues. I have polycystic ovaries, pretty bad acid reflux, which you wouldn't think would affect my lows, but it means that I pretty much anything medically that happens to me, I just start throwing up, which is not helpful. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. I might have to look through my medications and make sure I covered everything. But...
All right, hold on a second. You're 19 years old. You pass out a lot. You have PCOS, other hormonal issues, acid reflux, a B12 deficiency. You're anemic. What else? What's the thing? What's the thing with the low blood sugar called?
Reactive hypoglycemia.
Okay.
It's what it sounds like. It's basically, I tend to run low a lot of the time. Like before I started paying attention, I usually lived in the 70s and 80s, just like all the time, regardless of like if I ate. But also, if I have something that's really high in simple carbs, my pancreas will be like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I love carbs. And then I'll spike up way high for a non-diabetic. For my experience, I go up way high. And then I will shoot down low, like way too low. So. Okay.
So if blood sugar goes up, your body overreacts, crashes you low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Do your parents have any medical issues?
Not blood sugar wise. I'm trying to think. My dad's adopted, so I don't really know on that side. He's good himself, but I'm sure like it would be great to know like what the women in his family have. My mom, she's been a fainter too. Like again, borderline anemic, like not quite enough to be like, oh my God, you're like so anemic. Like but just enough to be like, yeah, that's probably a problem, but it will let it sit. And then it's just like that for her whole life.
Okay.
So,
and what do they do for you for this?
I wear a Dexcom, and that is like the main thing that helps me. I've been on a CGM. I started May of 2023. Mm-hmm. I talk to dietitians sometimes. I had one appointment, and he was like, "You should try a CGM," and that's kind of how it started. And then, just kind of. I don't know.
But I think nobody's trying to fix it for you, right? They're giving you a CGM so you don't fall and hit your head.
Yeah, to deal with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, hold on. Can we go through some things?
Yeah.
All right. So, because then we'll get back to why you listen to a podcast about diabetes. So that'll be later.
Yeah.
Or how a 19-year-old finds a podcast about diabetes. That's not the point. Right now, hold on a second. Let's go through a couple of things. How are your dietary habits? What do you eat? Be real. Let's be honest. Okay. My daughter goes to college. I mean, did you have Panera bread yet today, or is that still has to happen?
You know what I mean? God. Yeah. That's so embarrassing. That's what I had for dinner last night.
Of course. Yeah. And I understand what's happening to you. Don't worry. But I mean, like, are you taking vitamins? Don't lie. I know you're not, Maddie. Just say I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I'm taking what my doctors tell me. I take iron and stuff like that, but I don't go out of my way.
Do you know about? I don't go out of my way to try to supplement myself. But that's fine.
No.
Hold on a second. Oh God, this is Maddie. At any point during this conversation, if it feels like this is very personal, it's probably just some of my frustration with Arden coming out at you. So don't worry about that.
I'm very frustrating. I get it.
Do you try to name your episode? I'm very frustrating.
That's wonderful.
All right. So listen. Is it fair to say in the course of a month, how many times do you eat a fresh vegetable?
Well, I'll say I'm pretty good about that. I like a little tomato, a little bag of cherry tomatoes as a snack.
Okay.
I'll mess with that.
That's what we're calling fresh vegetables, a tomato?
Well, I know it's technically a fruit, but like
no, I'm saying like you're saying that there's been a couple of tomatoes on your salad and you don't push them aside to get to the croutons.
This is true. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, but you haven't had broccoli in the last, 4 weeks?
No, probably not. Okay, I like broccoli, but no.
Okay. And when you have a salad, does it have like bacon bits on it and oil?
Actually, no. My go-to salad is a Greek salad but with no olives. So it's probably not really a Greek salad. I just like all the stuff except olives.
So a ham and cheese sandwich without the bread. Is that what you're saying?
My sister is worse than me. I don't know why she
Wait,
doesn't
don't,
have
what
the
are you,
deficiency.
whoa, don't move the goalpost, Maddie. You've got a whole life.
No. I need you to get this. My sister eats pizza without sauce. So just know that I'm the normal one right now.
But what's on a Greek salad?
Feta cheese. Well, lettuce, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I usually go pretty heavy on the feta.
So
tomatoes.
Cheese, tomatoes. Is there like ham or any kind of meat in it?
That's one of my less proteiny meals. Yeah.
Okay. So basically it's cheese and lettuce. Is that what we're talking about? And
No. You got onions and tomatoes and I don't know what they're called. The yellow pepper things that Panera puts on them.
Okay. Well, let's just call them banana peppers.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then, okay. And you'll have one of those salads how frequently?
That's a more frequent meal for me. I'd say like once or twice a week.
Okay. So like you got up this morning, what did you eat?
I was stressed about my presentation, so I did not eat, which actually is a very interesting part about my blood sugar that I would like to say.
Go ahead.
I don't know, that was not meant to be aggressive. I'm going to say this now.
Did you think you came off aggressively just now? I understand what you mean. You were like, oh, I don't want to forget to say this, right? So go ahead. The Omnipod 5 automated insulin delivery system is available now and waiting for you at omnipod.com/juicebox. Omnipod 5 is the only tubeless automated insulin delivery system that integrates with the Dexcom G6 CGM. And it uses Smart Adjust technology to automatically adjust your insulin delivery every 5 minutes, helping to protect against highs and lows without multiple daily injections. Omnipod 5 is also available through your pharmacy, which means you can get started without the 4-year durable medical equipment contract that comes with most insulin pumps, even when you're currently in warranty with another system. To get started today, go to omnipod.com/juicebox. Now, for those of you who aren't in the market for an automated system, but still want an insulin pump and love the idea of tubeless, you're looking for the Omnipod DASH. Head over to my link, omnipod.com/juicebox. While you're there, you'll be able to learn everything you need to know about the Omnipod 5 and the Omnipod DASH. And you can also find out if you're eligible for a free 30-day trial of the Omnipod DASH. My daughter Arden has been wearing the Omnipod since she was 4 years old, and she just turned 18. That is 14 years of wearing an Omnipod every day, and it has been nothing but a friend in this journey with insulin. Because the Omnipod is tubeless, you can wear it while you're showering, swimming, or participating in your favorite physical activity. It's a big deal to not have to disconnect from a tubed pump to do those things. Head over now to omnipod.com/juicebox to find out if you're eligible for that free 30-day trial of the Dash, to learn more about the Dash, or to learn more about the Omnipod 5. Get started today. Omnipod 5 full safety and risk information, as well as a list of compatible phones and clinical trial claims data, are available at my link. And at that same link, omnipod.com/juicebox, you can also find terms and conditions for that Omnipod Dash 30-day trial.
Yeah. So one thing that my endos say is like, are you skipping meals? And like, I will be so for real with you. I'm 19. Yes, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, when I go extended periods without eating, my blood sugar looks like I am the healthiest person in the world. It is a flat line. It looks beautiful. It is the moment that food is thrown into the equation that makes things get absolutely insane. Like,
okay.
I won't go low from not eating. I will go low from eating, which is kind of the scary part to me.
I'm assuming that's part of what the reactive hype is in reactive hypoglycemia. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Okay. So we'll dig into that a little more. You and I might end up on ChatGPT or Google or something together in a second. But like, because again, I mean, not a doctor, but so although it doesn't sound like doctors are helping you, how long have you had acid reflux for?
So I don't know, because I didn't really, as a kid, like I thought it was like everyone just had burning a lot in their throat. Like I did not realize that was an abnormal thing.
I'm sorry.
I just thought it was like that for everyone.
Yeah. So since you were little, you've had it.
since I was little, but my first memories of having it, I would say it was a hurricane. I'm trying to think which one. That's how I measure my time in Florida, is hurricane.
Are you on a proton pump inhibitor now?
I'm actually not, no.
So you have reflux?
Oh, wait, no. Is that like
Tums but something prescribed to you?
I am.
Okay.
So sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Why would they call them that?
I don't know, because for context, I'm a biomed engineering major. So like I kind of know a little bit, but like that's a weird name for that. I did not make, but yeah, I always say lansoprazole, but it's like omeprazole.
Yeah, but just for your edification, a proton pump inhibitor is a medication that like reduces the production of stomach acid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you on one of those like daily?
Yes.
Okay. And that helps?
Yeah. It's actually weird. It's been worse lately because I started the B12 injections very recently and that kind of messed with it, but it's calmed down again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I started that around 16. So I guess 3 years.
Okay. So you've been on it for how long? Say that again.
I'd say, I think 3 years.
3 years. You know, some of the long-term risks of being on that include vitamin B12 deficiency?
I do. And it's actually funny because no one mentioned that to me.
Yeah, nobody's going to tell you anything.
Like, even when it came back, like I came back, God, I can't remember the normal range, but I was quite low. I think it was like, we want you to be at the minimum 300. I was at like 80. It was it was low enough for my doctor to be like, okay, injections, pick these up tonight. I looked it up and I was like, damn, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah. Also, like, it's not, I think it can block the absorption of iron too.
I'm sure it can.
So when did you start your iron issue?
I've always had issues. I remember when I was in middle school, I would just black out randomly and it ebbs and flows.
Have you ever had an iron infusion?
I actually haven't. And I made a post on the Facebook because I was so frustrated. My ferritin came back at like, I think 4.
No, you need an iron infusion.
Yeah. Yes. And you commented that.
Did I? Was I there? Look at me. I'm a man of the people.
No, you weren't.
Maddie, I'm everywhere and I'm nowhere at the same time. I'm like the shadow. Now, you can't have a ferritin level of 4 and expect to live a reasonable life. You're not absorbing. All right, listen. I am not a doctor, Maddie. This is not advice, okay? But I don't think you're absorbing your nutrients and you're probably not taking in that many to begin with. So if you're having an absorption problem, which is a thing that I live with my whole life, right? Then you get deficient you're anemic. It makes you pass out. So the anemia, let's put the passing out on the anemia. Okay. And you're taking iron supplements, but your body's not absorbing them. And even if they could, bringing up a 4 ferritin with a freaking iron supplement, you're going to not be able to shit before you're going to get your ferritin higher. Like, are you constipated with the things? I'm sorry, I'm asking you.
Surprising? No.
That's okay?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay. Also, I think there's something else you have going on that could cause diarrhea. So maybe they're balancing each other out. The proton pump inhibitors could give you diarrhea or constipation, nausea, stomach pain, gas, dizziness, headaches. You got any of that?
Dizziness and headaches, but like it's one of those things, and that's honestly part of why I started listening to the podcast is I have so many things that make me exhausted and pass out and confused and disoriented, etc.
Mm-hmm.
That like I have to have like spidey senses to know, like, am I low? What did I eat today? Is it a bad blood pressure? Oh yeah, I have low blood pressure too. Forgot about that one.
Well, yeah, but that could come with the anemia.
Yeah. It's like I have to have spidey senses to know what exact problem in this moment is making me feel terrible. And honestly, I've gotten better at it. Like, I feel like for a college kid, I am more aware of my body than I would expect myself to be.
Okay. But we don't want this for you.
No, it's not great. It's not great.
Do you drink enough liquids, water?
For a normal person, yeah. For Florida, probably not. I'm also, right now, I'm outside a lot. I'm in marching band. And so definitely not enough for that.
You're in marching band? You're like, you know what we need? Let's give the pass out girl a baton and see what happens. All right, listen, low blood pressure in you, right, could be linked to several of your conditions. So here's what I'm doing while I'm talking to you at the same time. So I've gone into ChatGPT and I've told it about you, right? And as you're, have you never done this?
Actually, no. Well, I've done it with my Snapchat AI, but it just told me, man, you need to take better care of yourself. Yeah. And I was like, okay,
Snapchat AI, Jesus. All right, hold on a second. B12 deficiency and anemia both can lead to fatigue and weakness. We know that. They can also cause low blood pressure. The body may not have enough red blood cells or oxygen to adequately maintain your pressure. I'm going to say right off the bat, if you go to your doctor and say, hey, jack up my iron, I want an iron infusion, right? I think most of this goes away for you. Now, the problem's going to be is that if you can't get in these nutrients that you need through food, it's going to come back again.
Yeah.
And if you're having a problem with your digestion somehow, so that's what was happening with me. And I know what happened to me isn't necessarily what happened to you, but I'm hearing a lot of me and you. Okay. So if I started taking a GLP med, which slowed down my digestion, and now I'm absorbing my nutrients better.
Wow.
Right. Is there any chance, I can't believe we're rooting for this. Is there any chance that you're overweight and you could get a GLP medication to try?
Actually, I'm not.
Damn. I mean, good for you. So,
I'm not.
No, it's okay.
I'm not but no.
I'm not saying that would do it for you. It's what happened for me. You need to find a way for your nutrients to get absorbed, which in my mind is what's not happening for you. So the stomach acid's been like 6 years, or no, it's been your whole life.
Acid reflux, I'm not really sure, but my first reaction to everything has been puking. Like since I was a kid, like if I was allergic to something, I would be throwing up all night. Like an excessive amount of just like any minor problem, even if it had nothing to do with my stomach, I would immediately start vomiting.
But the burning in your throat, you remember from being a kid too?
Yeah, I'd say probably like 10, 11
all right,
maybe.
So for most of your life, or half of your life, you've had too much stomach acid. It's probably messing up your digestion. Hold on, here's our question. Ready? How does acid reflux, I can't believe you haven't tried this yet. You're 19. Reflux impact B12 and acid reflux and its treatment and medications, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we know the proton pump inhibitor stops it. Stomach acid is crucial for breaking down food and making certain nutrients bioavailable, particularly with B12 and iron. Stomach acid helps release it from the proteins in the food. Then a protein called, what is that? Intrinsic factor produced in the stomach binds to the B12, allowing it to be absorbed in the small intestine. Pertinent iron. Stomach acid is also important for converting dietary iron, especially non-heme iron from plant sources, into a form that can be absorbed in the intestine. So so for someone like a 19-year-old with existing B12 deficiencies and anemia, low blood pressure, long-term use of proton pump inhibitors can worsen the nutrient deficiencies, further aggravating symptoms like fatigue, dizziness, and fainting.
That tracks.
Yeah, that sounds like what's happening to you. So, because listen, if you're going to wait for a doctor to fix this for you, Maddie, you might as well go throw yourself into one of those gator-infested puddles along the side of the road, okay? Because that's not going to happen. Yeah. Right. You need, I think, is an iron infusion, right? Because you're going to get your energy back. You're going to get your iron up. You're going to, etc. You're taking B12 how? Like orally, or they give it to you in the juice? They juice you up in the veins?
They juice me up.
Okay. So let's get them to juice you up with the B12 and the iron. Get everything up where it belongs. Try to stop the proton pump inhibitor for a little while and then eat very well to see if your body can keep absorbing the nutrients from the food. And maybe you get lucky and it doesn't come back.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
Maddie, back to how you eat like a monster for a second, okay? Has this been your whole life?
What do you mean?
I mean, have you had more Doritos or asparagus in your life?
Probably Doritos.
Okay. Do you think of yourself as a healthy eater?
No.
Why?
I think deep down, I think I'm healthier than I think I am, but
That's the funniest thing anyone's ever going to say to me. I don't even know what that means. Can we parse that sentence? Deep down, I think I'm a healthier eater than I think healthier eater. What did you fucking say? Say it again.
Okay, so I feel like there's two levels of thinking. It's like my like.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hear me out here. I'm an engineering major. We're engineering right now. I feel like I have the like primary brain that like says stuff that comes out of my mouth. But then if I think deeper, there's like the deeper part of my brain. And like in the primary part, I'm like, oh no, I eat like crap. I'm 19. But I think I try my best. And considering that like being so for real, I have no energy to cook all the time. If I'm given the choice between go and take a nap or eat and not feel hungry anymore, I will choose take a nap because I'm tired all the time.
Well, listen, there's no doubt. I have felt the way you feel. It's horrible. Has it changed your personality yet?
I think so.
Yeah. Like, are you harder to get along with or like have a shorter fuse or anything like that?
Yeah. To be candid with you, I have diagnosed depression, anxiety too, but I think the depression, it's hard because I've been in a place where it was not my like physical health. It was my mental health that was like, I was so severely depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. And I think since coming to college and just functioning as an adult for the first time, I have gotten to places with my health a few times now where like I have the fatigue part and not the mental part. And the cognitive dissonance of that, it's a lot.
Hey, how old were you when you felt depressed the first time or anxiety?
Anxiety, I want to say like middle school. Depression, when I was 15. I remember like very much when it started.
Okay, we're going to read the internet together. Several of your health issues, such as B12 deficiency, anemia, reactive hypoglycemia, hormonal imbalances, and even acid reflux can contribute to or exacerbate depression and anxiety. And here's how each of them may do that. B12 is crucial for brain health, and deficiency can affect mood and cognitive function. Low levels are linked to symptoms of depression, confusion, memory problems, and anxiety. B12 is involved in producing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood. A lack of B12 may result in reduced production of these chemicals, leading to mood changes. Anemia, iron deficiency, and ferritin levels. Anemia leads to fatigue and reduced oxygen flow to the brain, which can cause cognitive impairment, low energy, and mood swings. Many people with anemia experience feelings of depression and irritability due to constant fatigue and weakness. Low ferritin levels can also lead to brain fog and feelings of being mentally drained, which can contribute to anxiety and depressive symptoms. So far, this is you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fluctuating blood sugars levels can cause rapid changes in mood and energy, and low blood sugar or hypoglycemia can lead to anxiety, irritability, and even panic-like symptoms.
Yeah.
When the body experiences a drop in glucose, the brain perceives it as a stressor, triggering and releasing stress hormones like adrenaline, which can make someone feel jittery or anxious. That tracks?
Oh, yeah.
PCOS can cause significant hormonal disruptions, especially with estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, which can impact mood regulation. Many women with PCOS experience higher rates of anxiety and depression, possibly due to both the hormonal imbalances and the stress of dealing with physical symptoms like irregular periods, acne, and weight gain. Do you have irregular periods or acne?
Oh, yeah. Acne, not as bad, but yeah, my period since I was a kid, that's another thing. It screws up my blood sugar. It screws up me emotionally. I used to miss school like since I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
I would miss way more school.
I'm not suggesting this. I'm asking, have you taken the pill for this?
Yes.
Are you now?
I've been on it for a couple of years.
It helps?
Yeah. Actually, this is what a time to be recording this. I'm getting my IUD in on Friday.
Oh, congratulations.
I got sick of it. But yeah. That's going to be fun.
Is that like a quinceanera? Will you have a party or is that different? I don't understand exactly. Will you and your friends get together and celebrate?
My mom said she'll come pick me up if I want her to. So, I mean, you know.
Oh, is she making you walk to it?
No. No, she was like, I'll come because she just got hers changed like last month. And she was like, oh yeah, once you haven't had kids for 15 years, that's a lot worse. So she was like, I'll drive you everywhere.
Do you think it's possible that your mom is hearing this right now and thinking, oh, good. Yeah, go on a podcast and tell people about my IUD? 100%.
I don't think I ever told her that I was recording this. But I have to say, all of us, I think I'm definitely the most straightforward in my family. But like, I don't think any of us really have anything to hide.
Cool.
You know, like.
Excellent. All right, hold on. We're going to keep going. Acid reflux and digestive issues. Chronic discomfort from acid reflux can lead to stress, anxiety, sleep disturbances, which could worsen your mood. The ongoing discomfort and dietary restrictions associated with acid reflux can impact mental well-being. Do you find yourself eating things you know won't upset your stomach?
Not really.
Okay.
The medicine takes care of that. And it's very much something that I think about now of like, I'm not going to have the crutch of like medicine that makes it go away forever because the studies that come out, and I haven't looked into it too much because I am in this thing called college that takes up most of my capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they are not the greatest thing to be taking for your entire life. So I do think about it, but I don't really act on it.
People with digestive issues sometimes experience gut-brain connection, where the chronic gut problems like reflux may contribute to emotional distress. And then the low blood pressure can cause fatigue, dizziness, fainting. Again, these can make you feel helpless and anxious. Now, here's the question. What if she got a iron and B12 infusion, stopped?
Or like, what the hell is wrong with her blood sugar? Don't even worry. I have issues with that too.
Hold on. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that yet, really. Stop the PPI. And so what would we do? We jack up your iron. We jack up your B12. We take away the proton pump inhibitor and use an additive digestive enzyme at meals. Let's see if it can put all these twos and twos together and come up with 4.
It's like it's one interconnected web of just like being tired and feeling awful, but they don't quite connect. There's there's one weird piece of the puzzle.
No, it feels like you're like. It feels like I knocked you over and I'm squirting a fire hose at you and you're like, and when you roll away from the fire hose, someone squirts you from another fire hose from the other side. You're like, no, stay there. And then they start throwing sandbags on top of you. And you know what I mean? Like, and now you're just like, I have this wrong with me, this wrong with me, this wrong with me. I'm always tired. I'm foggy. I'm passing out. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, I just think that it's possible. And this is based completely on, and I want to be very clear because you're 19. I barely got through high school. Do you understand? I am not, I have no training in this whatsoever. I just have a lot of conversations with people and I have my own problems. And as I'm like, and maybe I'm wrong. I could be 1,000,000% wrong. But the way you feel could easily have to do like you're like, oh, I pass out all the time. But what if like your iron's just so low? Like, look, my ferritin was once 9. And I bent down to pick something up in my kitchen and almost fell on my head.
Oh, yeah.
Like seriously, right? And then I literally was 2 weeks away from a doctor's appointment where they were going to give me an infusion, but I couldn't wait that long. So I just went to the emergency room and I was like, look, I'm going to die before I get to this infusion. They gave me a little bit of it. It changed my life. Then they gave me the rest of it at the appointment because you got to go to a hematologist. Right. Mm-hmm. And you go in there and you're like, look, here's all my jimmies. Like, as everything is wrong with me, can you please jack up my ferritin? Right. Please. Because here's what I think is going to happen. And the doctor's going to listen to what you and I have been talking about right now. And they're going to go, yeah, that's a reasonable thing to consider. Let's do that. And then you're going to say, you're probably at the same infusion center. You can probably go back and get your B12, get all of your, all your supplementation that's impacting these problems jacked back up. Now, what's the next problem? You've been on this proton pump inhibitor for 6 years, so you're not absorbing anything. And they're trying to basically what they're doing is they're blocking the absorption of your iron and your B12 with the proton pump inhibitor. And then they're just going, here, take a bunch of supplementary iron and we'll inject you with B12 once in a while. That's not working for you. Like, you're not dying, but you're not living either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now why I brought up...
Wait,
go ahead. Say whatever you want to say.
One way that I've described it is like, those splash pads where like if there's a bunch of little sprinklers And if a kid like steps on one of them, it'll stop spraying, but the other one will go like crazy higher. It feels like that all the time. Like I got to pick my battles.
Yeah. I think that that's just going to leave you with a lifetime of whack-a-mole, like just hitting the thing that's, and I don't think that's going to be good for you because I don't think you're going to get anywhere with that. So the reason I brought up the digestive enzyme is then like maybe if we ease the burden on your body of getting your food through you for a while, I wonder if it wouldn't tamp down your stomach acid. And then I don't know how to suggest why my GLP got, why don't we just ask the machine? Why does GLP stop reflux?
So sorry, my cat is playing with a bag and I don't know how to make him stop.
You have a cat at college?
I do. He's my best friend.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, that's so nice.
Okay. Full disclosure, I am a dog person, but this cat like attached himself to me and he acts enough like a dog where I'm like, okay, this is fine.
I don't understand. Oh, you have an apartment. You're not like in a dorm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm like, how did you get a cat into a dorm? Although my son in his freshman year of college texted us one day and goes, yo, there's a guy on our floor with a chinchilla. I think it was a chinchilla.
I think my friend's RA had a secret chinchilla. And I was like, you're literally the one inspecting yourself. Like, how do you have, like, what?
Maddie, do you know what your episode's going to be called?
What?
Secret Chinchilla.
That's amazing.
Well,
That's
it's so
wonderful.
good. Oh, okay. GLPs. People are like, wait, he's 53 and she's 19 or vice versa. GLP-1 medications commonly used for type 2 diabetes and weight management can help reduce acid reflux in some people, but here's how. Slows down the rate in which the stomach empties food into the small intestine. The slower gastric emptying reduces the volume of food and acid in the stomach at any given time, which can lower the pressure on the lower esophageal sphincter. Ooh, that's sexy. The LES, reduce the likelihood of stomach acid backing up into the esophagus. So it slows down the digestion, which takes the pressure off the sphincter, which leaves that thing stay closed. And then that reduces the idea of the acid backing up into the esophagus. Because, by the way, this is also very important because you could get something called Barrett's esophagus, by the way, which could be precancerous. I think is precancerous. Yeah. You don't want esophageal cancer, that's for sure. GLP medications promote the feeling of fullness, leading to smaller meal sizes, since larger meals are the major trigger for acid reflux. Do you eat a lot of big meals?
Yeah. And it's a self-feeding problem because one thing that will happen is I am so exhausted all the time that I have to kind of delegate all of my energy into a few hours. And so I'll have like a couple snacks and then this big, like actually decent meal. And then that'll be my day.
GLP medications are often used for weight loss, losing weight, especially around, you don't have a weight issue though, right?
No.
Does that mess you up eating healthy? Like, are you a thin person?
Yeah, I'm thin.
So my question is, Maddie, the reason I'm asking is my question is do you see yourself in the mirror and then think, thin, I'm healthy, so how I'm eating must be okay?
No, it's a lot. This is a great point that ties back to my blood sugar because when I look up the issues that I'm having, and even when I go to the doctor sometimes, even if it's not intentional, the way that they speak to me, the connotation is always, you are on a path, you are eating terribly and you need to be perfect all the time or else you are going to probably get type 2, which, happens, especially with PCOS. It's very much like you're doing a bad job eating and you are doomed to be an adult who's struggling with their weight and with their eating for the rest of their life. That's kind of the vibe I get.
Jesus.
Especially when you look up reactive hypoglycemia, you look it up on social media. This is one thing that I've found. It's a lot of like middle-aged women that are like, do you have a hormonal imbalance? Do you feel like you're fat? Here's my weight loss solution to balance your hormones and not have reactive hypoglycemia. Like you don't see anyone my age with this issue.
You don't see a lot of 19-year-old girls who are like, oh, guess what I have? But you have PCOS. Yeah. See, so the GLP can help with the PCOS too.
Yeah.
But you don't need it. And they don't microdose it yet from doctors in a way that might be helpful. Although, have you tried metformin for the PCOS?
I haven't.
Has
and I'm
it been brought up?
surprised that no one's suggested it. But I think one of the concerns is, since my blood sugar just tends to run lower. I think one of the concerns is that it would bring it even lower, and then I'd be more kind of teetering on the edge of low all the time.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten to that yet. I'm still working through this whole thing. Also, it's hard for me to work through it because I'm an idiot, but I'm trying. So but what we've learned from the GLP thing, right, is ways that GLPs, because we're not saying take a GLP. We're saying, how does GLP stop stomach acid? Maybe we can find ways. So it looks like smaller meals would be one for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, avoiding some of the foods that, do that, which we'll get to in a second. But so you can decrease acid production. So smaller meals is what I take out of this for you, because you don't need to lose weight. So eating more frequently, smaller meals during the day could help with acid reduction for you. So that we've got. Yes, reactive hypoglycemia can be an early indicator for type 2 diabetes in some individuals if it's related to insulin resistance.
And that's one thing I don't really know. Like, my doctors have never really mentioned it. I need to be more assertive in my appointments, but it's like, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm. Like, how would you be more assertive? I
don't know. They come in. Here's my experience with the endo. And this is maybe getting off topic, but I don't know. This will kind of explain why.
You think we're on topic? Go. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come in and I'm like, hey, I've been having these issues. They run through my Dexcom. They look at some of my worst days and they go, this looks bad, but I don't know. Maybe you didn't finger prick enough. Maybe it wasn't accurate enough. And they look at my overall trends and they go, well, you don't look like you have diabetes. And I'm like, no, I didn't think I had diabetes. And they say, okay, well, you're a skinny girl. You're probably not eating well. You're probably not eating enough. Eat more and stop partying. That's what I get. And I go, oh, well, I could be doing better. So I guess, yeah. And I don't really fight for myself because
you just give
I'm
up.
a 19-year-old girl.
Are you partying a lot?
No.
Okay.
No.
They just assume you are because you're in college.
It's just, they tell you, eat better, be good, that pretty much,
Yeah, they just say a bunch of shit that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't really talk it through. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've fed a lot of information so far into ChatGPT, and I told it when we started to remember you so that we could keep talking about it, right? And I can actually, I can send this to you when we're done, if you like. So I said, could any of her other issues be the reasons for her reactive hypoglycemia? It says the PCOS is often associated with insulin resistance, which can cause the body to overproduce insulin after meals. The overproduction can lead to blood sugar dropping to low after eating. So PCOS, yes, hormonal fluctuations can affect insulin sensitivity. If her hormones are out of balance, her body might struggle to regulate blood sugar. Anemia, while anemia itself doesn't cause reactive hypoglycemia, fatigue and weakness from anemia could mask earlier signs of low blood sugar, making hypoglycemia more noticeable. So what that's saying is poor oxygen circulation due to anemia may also exacerbate the feelings of weakness and disease. So you might feel so crappy all the time that it's stopping you from realizing your blood sugar is getting lower to do something about it before it's happening. That's where it's saying anemia could impact.
Exactly. That, frame that and quote that. That's why my doctors say, you're not going low that often, but when I do, it is catastrophic. And now I can see it. And now someone can be like, you need to eat now. You're 50. Because otherwise I just slept through it. And it would,
because you always feel crappy. So you don't notice it right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm at the point where I'm in public disoriented and it's scary. It's really scary.
B12 is essential for healthy nerve function, and metabolism deficiency can lead to nerve dysfunction, which could affect how the body senses or responds to changes in blood sugar levels, possibly making her more vulnerable to hypoglycemia symptoms or slowing her response to them. And then the PPI, the proton pump inhibitors, can reduce the absorption of certain nutrients like magnesium, which play a role in glucose regulation. Over time, this could contribute to metabolic disturbances, which issues with blood sugar control, though the link between PPIs and reactive hypoglycemia is less direct. Acid reflux and the use of medications might impact nutrient, which could affect. Okay. All right. So here's what I think. If you were my kid, I would first say thank you for going to a state school. I'd be very excited about that. Thank you.
Oh, yes. It's so much cheaper.
Yes. That would be the first thing I would say to you. And then I would say this. I think we need to get your iron up, your B12 up, and get you off of this acid reflux medication for a little bit. I don't want you to suffer from acid reflux. And I know there are a lot of reasons, very good reasons why you want it to stop. But it feels to me like you're 19 now. When you were 13, they put you on a proton pump inhibitor, right? And most of your problems have started since then. Is that right?
I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, because prior to 13, were you passing out prior to 13?
No.
Okay. Did you have...
And to clarify, I had acid reflux. I didn't really start... I started PPI, I think, 15 or 16.
Okay. All right. So about 3. Okay. So let's timetable this for us. Don't worry about the exact date. Let's just think about what came first.
Yeah.
So what came first? What was your first problem? Period.
Growing up and stuff. So I think in hindsight, I would say probably the acid reflux.
Okay. So acid reflux comes first. When do you start getting your period?
13.
Are they bad right away?
Yes.
Okay. So then you start losing iron from the heavy bleeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now the iron starts to go away as the heavy bleeding happens, but it takes them 3 years to put you on the proton pump inhibitor. By then, your iron's super low. The proton pump inhibitor takes away the acid, but it's also blocking you from reabsorbing any iron. And what else? When does the passing out start?
Around when I got my first.
Around when you got your first period. Has it gotten worse, better, or stayed the same?
I don't know. It's ebbs and flows. I mean, sometimes I'll have a month where, a few times a day, if I stand too fast, I got to sit back down. I don't usually have I'd say a grand passing out episode is probably like once or twice a year.
And is that from low blood sugar, or is it from like low energy?
All of them. It depends.
All right. Okay. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first was the tough period, the acid reflux. The tough periods kind of come at the same time. Your iron probably gets low from the bleeding. You can't reabsorb it because it's just, listen, between you and me, taking an iron supplement a day is not going to build you back up from a 4 ferritin. Like it's going to take for fucking ever. Okay. So,
yeah. And
then you just bleed again and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You're like, I got to and it's gone. So,
yeah.
Okay. So the PCOS is the crux of a lot of your issues, right? Because it's a hormonal disorder that can cause insulin resistance, irregular periods, metabolic issues. The hormonal imbalances are probably related to the PCOS. Anemia is probably related to the bleeding, and then you can't get back from it because of the bleeding. And the proton pump inhibitor, the B12, is probably the proton pump inhibitor. When's the first time they started giving you B12? When did they notice that?
I was never tested for it until I kind of had a breaking point recently. Like a few months ago, I had a lot happen. Last semester, my spring semester, was wild. And so I came in and I was like, I don't know if I'm depressed or if I'm just exhausted, but something needs to happen. Some change needs to happen. And so she was like, okay, we'll up your antidepressants. And that helped a little bit. But she was like, I also, when I do this, I want to test for deficiencies. That's when she saw my ferritin was low, and it's been low before, just no one did anything about it. And she was like, okay, let's start working on that. And then after we started on that, she was like, I also want to check your B12. And so she checked my B12. So I started injections for that a month ago. Like,
okay. But they didn't talk about the iron at that time? You can get her to give you iron. What kind of doctor is she?
It's actually the college's student healthcare.
Oh,
She's
I
think a PA.
Dear God. No. We need to get you to a physician. Okay, hold on a second. Not that nice lady that works at the okay. All right, hold on a second. Do you eat a lot of spicy food or other things that can cause, because I'm trying to think about how, also, by the way, you can't just like dead stop a PPI. I think you have to go off them gradually. So be careful about that, okay?
Yeah.
But do you eat a lot of spicy foods or anything like that?
Spicy, not really. Acidic, yes. Although, honestly, this is not, people do not believe me when I say this. I used to be like a coffee addict, and college has actually weaned me off. I have a lot less coffee and soda than I used to.
Yeah, because we want you off of spicy foods, caffeine, citrus, chocolate, alcohol, fatty, or fried foods.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
The best a college student can.
Maddie, here's what I think.
I do try.
Here's our plan.
Yeah.
Iron infusions, keep up with the B12 infusions, get off the PPI, avoid spicy foods, caffeine, citrus, chocolate, alcohol, fatty, and fried foods. Use a digestive enzyme at your meals, which you can buy over the counter to help like get your digestion like rolling, get your magnesium built back up, and see if you don't feel better in a month after doing that, which I definitely think you could do. I also might use, you know what slippery elm is?
I don't.
All right. It's just an over the counter, like, it's like a crunchy supplement kind of a thing, but it kind of coats your insides, your esophagus, your stomach, that whole lining. It'll help your poopies. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Maddie. How do your poops come out? Are they messy or are they nice and formed?
This is one thing I'm very proud of. I have so many stomach issues like growing up. My poop has always been wonderful. Okay. Regular, good texture, wonderful.
All right, good. But the slippery elm could help coat your insides, coat your esophagus, your stomach lining to protect you from acid while we're figuring out if we can eliminate your acid some different way. Because I think in my heart, again, if you were my kid, I think that the proton pump inhibitor is causing a lot of your other problems.
I believe that.
And then we need to impact your PCOS somehow. Maybe the PCOS is the founder of the feast in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So now that's a bigger problem because modern medicine doesn't seem to give a shit about women who suffer with PCOS.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Same thing with women who have deficiencies and pass out. It's like, damn, you don't eat that well. And then,
Yeah, I hear you. A lot of times they're just like, has anyone said to you yet, like, oh, you might grow out of this?
Christ.
No one said that yet?
No, a lot.
Oh, they say it a lot. Yeah. That's a very common thing to say to women about hormonal stuff. Like, oh, or this could change after you have a baby. Has anyone said that to you yet?
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, my favorite was my endo was like, yeah, this hypoglycemia, like you're having episodes like we would usually see in a kid, but you're not a kid anymore. You're 18 now, and that's weird.
Okay.
And then that was it, like,
good luck. I hope you don't die.
Like,
would you be willing to try inositol at first? I'm going to send you a link to something on Amazon. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this is what we're doing on a podcast, but okay. I only have your text on my burner phone. That's not connected to what I'm Googling. Give me a second. And also no offense to anybody who thinks they have my phone number, but you don't.
I was gonna hit you up.
You definitely can. I will not answer.
Love it.
No, that's not true. I might answer.
The doctors aren't going to do it. And this isn't even a hate on doctors. They don't have enough time. But
they got more time than you think. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I'm tired of that fucking excuse. All right. So I just texted you something called Ovasitol. Okay. It's a powder you can buy online. It's a little expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. You can look at other versions of it if you want, but this is the one that my daughter used. I think you start with, again, read the instructions. Okay. But it's another thing you're not going to get a lot of instruction from. So here's what my daughter's endocrinologist told us. Start with 2 scoops a day. If you get diarrhea, try a scoop and a half. If it doesn't go away, go down to a scoop. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're going to want to read about it. Okay. And don't just take it because I told you, obviously, but I want you to look at it. All right. A lot of women have a lot of luck with PCOS symptoms being curbed with this stuff. Seriously, like you will see people online say, I couldn't have a baby. I started taking this and I got pregnant. Okay. So give it a shot if you want. See how that goes to curb your hormonal issues. Get your doctor to give you an iron infusion. Tell them that you have heard that a 70 ferritin is the absolute bare minimum for a woman of menstruating age. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Tell them that, because they're going to say that, 30 is okay or 20 is okay. Tell them, yeah, you try living my life like that. I want you to jack my iron up so that we can see what's going to happen. I want my iron jacked up. I want my ferritin higher. I want you to keep going with the B12. I'm going to take Ovasitol for my PCOS, and I'm also going to make these changes to my eating, right?
Yeah.
And I'd like to be taken off the proton pump inhibitor so that I can start absorbing my nutrients through my food. And then you're going to take a vitamin every fucking day, Maddie. I don't care that you're in college or that you're 19 or that it's not fun. This is me talking to Arden, not to you. So don't take this the wrong way.
I get it. I get it.
All right. And I think you're a different person in 2 months if we do all this stuff. I think you're naming a baby after me one day. One day I get a text and it's like, hey, I know this is your burner phone, but it's Maddie. And here's a picture of little Scott. Okay. I'm married. I'm 29 and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Also, no reason to have a baby that early. You do whatever you want, though. Now, we want to find you a nice multivitamin, okay, to be taking. There's a lot of good ones. I'm going to trust you to do that on your own. Don't buy it at the grocery store, okay?
Yeah.
Get something made by a nice company and take it every day, the amount you're supposed to. Not if it says take 2, I took 1, none of that, okay? Every day a multivitamin. You're going to let your body absorb those nutrients that way. You're going to grow and learn to eat better as you get older, and you're going to get out of college where they're not being assaulted all the time, where a world where Panera Bread is considered high eaten. Okay. And any of you who are listening, Panera Bread is not good for you. I know they sell salads. That doesn't make it healthy. And if Panera Bread's listening, don't sue me. I'm sure your stuff is great for people.
And if they are listening, give me a gift card, because I will disregard this.
I'm not stopping right away and I'm broke. Listen, I'm sure there's a way to eat well there. But that big cookie that looks like a pumpkin with that sugar on top is probably not part of it. And you're washing your salad down with that cookie. So what are we arguing about right now?
Anyway,
Maddie,
so
has
sorry
that
to
happened? Maddie, has that happened?
I love Panera. I'm very passionate about Panera.
I'm very passionate about Panera. Also, what else you guys love? Chick-fil-A?
I feel like I'm being roasted right now. Yes.
Yes. This is usually when Arden goes, I feel attacked. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So you know what we're doing? Or do I need to write it down for you?
No. I get the plan. No, I'm with it.
Okay. Tell your mom, first of all. Say, Mom, here's what I figured out. And hold on a second. I need this entire conversation repackaged to share with the 19-year-old, including a path of action. Also, this stuff's either going to take over the world or save us. I'm not sure which yet.
Yeah, I think take over the world, but it's great. It's great while it hasn't.
The first time I did this, I used ChatGPT and I talked to it because I'm not good with the typing. And so I'll be like, hey, I'd like to have a conversation right now about my health issues. And then I tell it as much about it as I can remember about myself. And then I start saying that this happens to me. What do you think? And I'm not saying it's right, but it does hold all the ideas and then keep them in mind when it's answering. I think
yes.
I heard Mark Cuban recently say, think of AI as like a really smart friend who remembers everything you've spoken about when it answers.
Yes.
And I think that's how I feel about it mostly. Not that it's always right or that it can't make mistakes or, call the wrong thing. Sometimes it gets confused, etc. It is putting out an absolutely a plan for you right now. Okay.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Give this to me so I can share it. Okay. All right. What else? Why did you come on the podcast? How the hell did you find the podcast?
I actually remember it very well, the exact sequence of events. About a year ago, I was in fall semester of college. I'm in marching band, which is, I love it, but it's a bunch of standing around and sometimes adrenaline. And, it was wonderful for my blood sugar. It was really It wasn't. That's sarcasm. And I was having lows, and I have always been fatigued. And so I just sleep through them. And so I would wake up with 70,000 Dexcom alerts, and I was struggling. I was like, I don't know how to fix this. I am like deep in this hole, and I have no one to talk to about this. I now have friends that are type 1, but at the time I didn't. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And if I go online, it's advice for, this is not a nice way to put it, but it's advice for moms that think they're fat, that have hormone issues. It was so frustrating. And so I looked up everything until I went crazy. And eventually I was like, I don't know how to deal with my lows, and I feel so alone. And so I started listening to the podcast. I looked up low blood sugar, and I found episodes of this. And even though, I'm not taking insulin, I'm not on a pump, I'm very interested in that part of it. And the part of it about management and just kind of the rawness of like, this podcast does not expect me to be a perfect person. By the way, you should like pay me. Like, this is an ad right now.
Hey, it's an ad to people who are already listening. What are you talking about? You got to go find people who aren't listening and tell them that.
Hey. But
I think your generation is confused. All right, I can't pay you for telling people who already like the podcast to like the podcast.
I'm being nice about something. It's very good.
I don't even know what you're saying.
No, but seriously, anymore. I had no one to talk to about my lows, and it is very isolating. No one. It's like, oh, I know when I don't eat and I get shaky, and I'm like, that's very sweet, but no, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's not the same as what's happening to you. Are you saying that basically you're like, look, I have a real problem here, and while this podcast probably can't fix it, at least I'll be surrounded by understanding people while I'm listening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can feel a little comforted and not alone, and find a sense of community, even though this isn't really your community, but it's as close as you can find.
Yeah. And through that, I actually found another girl my age, a little bit younger, that has it via social media and talking about Dexcoms and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's great. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't listen to the podcast as much anymore. It kind of served the purpose that it needed for me.
I completely understand.
The Facebook group, though, oh my God, I am on that thing constantly.
Excellent. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I don't think it can't be all things to all people, but I think that when you need it and it's there, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had ChatGPT send me a document, which I forwarded to you. Okay. But between you and I, again, I think this is a fairly straightforward event. This is slowly getting off the proton pump inhibitor. This is you getting an iron infusion, not iron supplements. And do you know how to tell the doctor about that? It's going to take forever. I have heavy periods. Any gains that I make are wiped out by the period next month. I really need to get my iron up so that I can feel better. I think it's going to clear up my anxiety, maybe even some of my depression. It's going to help me with energy, mental focus. I think that's going to help me to be able to eat better because I'll have more time, which I think will impact my acid reflux. Here's my plan for foods I'm going to avoid with my acid, to help with the acid reflux. I'm also going to add a digestive enzyme to my meals to help my digestion go a little smoother in the beginning. I'm hoping to get off of that. I'm hoping I don't have to use that forever. I'm going to use some sort of an acetol to try to address my PCOS symptoms, which I think will help balance out my hormones, which I think will make my periods better, which I think will lessen my bleeding, which will help me keep up my iron. But until then, I might need these iron infusions every 6 months till I get all this together. If you say that to a doctor and they don't understand or disagree with you, go, you don't know what you're talking about, and then go to the next person. Okay. But I think you want to have this conversation probably with your endocrinologist, but you're going to end up needing a hematologist to give you the iron infusion. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't not do this.
No. And that's something I'm working on this year. I think my freshman year of college in a lot of ways, but part of it was my health. I had to survive, and I'm working on fighting for myself.
I understand the problem is that there's too much going on to do this thing, but this is you putting on your air mask before you look to the person next to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you do these things, your life gets, I'm going to tell you right now, just the iron infusion in the short term will change your life. Okay.
I believe it.
No, please. You will be a different person. And the reason that I have no trouble spending all this time talking to you about this on a diabetes podcast with a person who doesn't have diabetes, et cetera. And then people are going to say, oh, Scott, you never talk about diabetes. But yes, I do. The reason is because this thing that is happening to you, I see overwhelmingly happen to people in an autoimmune community to begin with. So this is going to help a lot of people. And by the way, a lot of ladies get horrible periods that nobody helps them with. And then they have all these other things. And then they just think they're just tired. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm tired because I have kids. I'm tired because I'm older. I'm tired because I didn't eat well. Like, no. This is probably what's happening. You gotta see the bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I just say that you needed to know about Ovasitol? Oh, a digestive enzyme too.
Yeah, that I know nothing about.
Yeah. Thorn Labs makes a nice one. And Pure Encapsulations makes a nice one. Look on Amazon for it so you can see it. Then you can buy it wherever you can get. Just make sure you're getting the real thing and that it's, you're not overpaying for it. I'm going to send you a link to one of them on Amazon just so you can see what I'm talking about. So you have the Ovasitol powder. You've got the digestive enzymes. You have the Word document from that. We want your ferritin. Okay. Ferritin above 70 minimum, but it should be higher. But we want higher. And take a good multivitamin every day. And by good, I mean by a good company. Okay. Again, Thorn Labs makes a nice one. Is your mom going to pay for this?
Oh, yeah.
Is she? Okay.
Yes. No, seriously. Like, I am very, very lucky. My Dexcoms is one thing that, again, pick your battles. My insurance is awful. I have to pay a lot of money to wear one. And
well, I'd like to see in a world where you don't need one.
Yes. And I'm getting closer. Oh, I'm getting closer.
I think you get your hormones straightened out. It's possible this goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or at the very minimum, because this is what my endos say, and I'm like, I'm not physically able to do this. If I could feel myself going low before I get to 55, I wouldn't need a Dexcom. But I'm getting to 55 and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I don't know where I am right now. Like, I don't feel it at all.
I hear you. And so maybe these things actually help with that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maddie, as far as I'm concerned, you are one good doctor's appointment away from feeling better. If I was there, I would fight for you in those doctor's appointments. You're going to have to do it yourself. Get the mom to do it with you too. And I'm going to say this too. You've done a thing here today that doesn't usually happen. You made an episode with me. I'm going to rush through and put up really quickly because I want you to be able to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to help you. So I'm going to send this off to the editor today. I'm going to tell him to do this one first, and I'm going to try to put it up next week or the week after.
I know it's because I'm great. I'm great TV. Everyone loves me.
Maddie, listen, let's not get crazy. It's so that I just want you to be able to share it with your mom so she understands where you're coming from when you start jibber jabbering to her like, Mom, I went on a podcast and this old man told me that he thinks I should get an iron infusion. And your mom's going to be like, oh, honey, come home. We didn't realize you were so unsafe at school. Okay. So
No. Yeah, this is right up my alley. This is right up my alley.
Oh, this fits for you?
I think so.
Okay. Listen, even if you're not listening to the diabetes stuff anymore, go back into the feed and find the I Don't Understands with Arden. I think you'll enjoy them.
Okay. I've listened to a couple with her and I feel like we'd get along.
I'm sure you would. But we're doing a new series right now. It's Arden and I talking about things she doesn't understand. So we've done so far we've done how fingernails grow, what blind people see. Those are out. You're soon going to get ones about, like, she doesn't understand money. We talk about being judgmental. I don't
understand money.
Okay. Being judgmental. What did we record yesterday? God, yesterday we did... Hold on. Let me pull up my list. I record so many podcasts. I swear to God, I don't remember anything. Oh, internal monologue. When you're thinking, do you hear a voice?
Oh, yeah.
You do. Yeah. And if I asked you to close your eyes and picture an apple, can you picture it? Mm-hmm. I can't.
That's crazy. Well, I'll take it a step further. I actually also have synesthesia. So I read letters in color. And it happens when I read sheet music too.
Really? I don't hear an internal monologue. Like Arden's like, when you think, what do you hear? I'm like, I don't hear anything, but I know the words are there. She's like, I don't understand. I'm like, I don't understand that you hear something.
Yeah, so it's like me, but different.
Super interesting. So check those out, because that's her and I. By the way, I sent her back to college with a microphone. So now we like get together once a week and we're recording them.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay. Maddie, I'm going to let you go. You have to go learn some more and probably sleep. You're probably exhausted. And by the way, sleeping doesn't help you at all, right?
No.
You wake up just as tired as when you went to bed. Yeah, I feel so bad for you, honey. This happened to me, and I know what it is, and it's really terrible. And so the iron infusion is step one. You should call your mom right now and say, I need to get an iron infusion. Help me get an iron infusion.
Yeah.
Okay? And call her mommy and tell her you love her, because she'll probably just do it then.
No, she knows I'm asking for something if I call her mommy.
I know. We all know, but it still works. So just do it. All right, hold on 1 second. We're done. You were great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, of course. It was my pleasure. Omnipod 5 sponsored this episode of the Juicebox Podcast. And to get rid of your FOMO, go to omnipod.com/juicebox. That's omnipod.com/juicebox. No more FOMO. I don't want you running around with a fear of missing out on Omnipod. This episode was sponsored by Touched by Type 1. I want you to go find them on Facebook, Instagram, and give them a follow. And then head to touchedbytype1.org, where you're going to learn all about their programs and resources for people with type 1 diabetes. Hey kids, listen up. You've made it to the end of the podcast. You must have enjoyed it. You know what else you might enjoy? The private Facebook group for the Juicebox Podcast. I know you're thinking, Facebook, Scott, please. But no. Beautiful group, wonderful people, a fantastic community. Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. Of course, if you have type 2 or you're touched by diabetes in any way, you're absolutely welcome. It's a private group, so you'll have to answer a couple of questions before you come in. We'll make sure you're not a bot or an evildoer. Then you're on your way. You'll be part of the family. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com.